So I will just request you all to keep yourself on mute. Yeah. And maybe after the presentation, after the entire session goes on, maybe we can take some questions from everyone. Yeah. So good evening, everyone. I have a very short introduction of myself. The idea is not to give information on what I am, but basically on the subject which is so dear to everyone, book writing, book publishing. So my name is Rajneesh Shirsat. I am the owner of Book My Story. I come with an experience of close to 30 years into the print and publishing sector. I have worked in India as well as abroad in developed markets as well as underdeveloped markets like Africa, dealing with a lot of book publishers for one of my other vertical. And for the vertical, which basically encourages people to write and publish their book, is where we specialize now. So to a great extent, authors on our clientele is they are mainly business owners, business coaches, consultants, corporate trainers, doctors also to some extent, and a lot of people who wish to write their biographies. Though that's the normal mix of my clientele. Um, as we go along, maybe I'll get more into details about what we do, how we do. But as I said, the objective today is to give you a complete ringside view about what book publishing, book writing is all about. So I'll start my presentation. I'll share my screen now. Thank you so much. Okay, let me see my screen. I hope everyone can see my screen. Yeah, if you can just give me a thumbs up. Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. So this is all about book creation, publishing, and marketing. Uh, just a very quick overview, a lot of data, but something which will be very interesting to all of you all. India itself is projected to reach about 5.83 billion in 2025. That's the book market projected figures as of today. The number of readers in the Indian book market is anticipated to be about 501 million by 2029. So those are the kind of figures we are talking about. India is the largest market, fifth largest market after countries like US, China, Germany, and Japan. We have already toppled UK. UK was the fifth largest, but now we are the ones. Uh, in 2023, a share of 35.4 of users in India falls within a 25 to 34 age group as far as book readers are concerned. And then it is 35 to 45. So all those, aspiring authors over here, when you write content, keep in mind this is the kind of target group which one should address at. Females are reading more than males, so that's a very interesting insight again when you draft your entire content. And audiobooks has peaked, but this is a typical case of how ebooks first came in when the print was always available, and then it picked up like crazy. But today ebooks have actually fallen and print is still thriving. It's the same case with audiobook also. There are, I mean, I always look at it as something which is good for the industry because the industry grows. The content, the platforms to share content increases as audiobooks come, ebooks come, and who's the winner? If you ask me, the industry is the winner. So that's the scene as far as audiobooks are concerned, and print is consistently doing well. So there was time and again every decade I have seen, and I have reasonably good experience to mention this, that print will die, print cannot survive in technological age. All those have been coming, and I think thousands of debates and platforms I have attended to discuss this topic. But print is still there, still going strong because the whole joy of holding a book in hand and reading, I think that cannot be taken away. So that's my, it's a quick overview for you. These are few very notable authors. There are many, many more, but these numbers are very encouraging for everyone. Savi Sharma is close to about 100,000 books which he has sold, and these are all new publishers. They are new authors. Sorry, Preeti Shenoy again 2.5 lakhs books sold. Ravi Subramanian, is one of the best fictional kind of author. If God Was a Banker has done phenomenally well, 1 million copies. And these were all, books which started slowly. If the content is good, believe me, folks, it really picks up. You have to just connect with the audience in the right manner. And once it goes into the, I wouldn't say viral form, but in a spiral form in promoting your book, it makes a huge difference that way. So this is just a quick overview. Welcome, Mahesh. We have just started, but feel free to join in. You can on your video also. Thank you.
Uh, Thank you, Rajnish. I'll switch on the video after a little while.
Sure. Just stay on mute in that case. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll be on mute. Thank you.
Thank you. So, what am I, what's my objective of this whole presentation today is what will you learn from here is how to identify a topic, what's the book creation process, the publishing steps, and the marketing techniques. Broadly, these are the four things which come to anyone's mind when they think about seeing themselves as an author. So, we'll go step by step. Uh, an acronym again, the ABCDE of reasons. Why write a book? It builds your authority, establishes your brand, signifies a lot of credibility once you've written a book. It gets anyone to dive into conversations with you. Once you are an author, it makes a huge difference to your character, your entire presentation wherever you go, and it communicates your expertise. You don't have to tell about what you are, how you are. If you have been all your life doing something, and if you write a book on that, your credibility and your expertise, your authority is something which is built up automatically. So very strong 5 reasons. Besides this, of course, there are people who feel that I want to leave a legacy, I want to write about my story, I'm not expecting any kind of commercial benefits, but I want to share my experience. I always tell a lot of my clients, a lot of the aspiring authors basically, that there are people in the world from whom we get inspired, but we ourselves can inspire a lot of people, and that only can happen when you write a good book, share your experience. um, the people from earlier generations, even your existing generation, can learn a lot from what you are and how you are. So these are few strong reasons. uh, there are a lot of people who focus on this part, the brand part, because once you build a good brand, it's like a marketing tool for you. So you are in a position to promote yourself in a much better manner. No matter what you do in terms of this digital age of having posts created, go on LinkedIn, social media, everything, and of course that's necessary, but a physical book in hand and on someone's table is something which will stay forever. So it's one of the most potent marketing tool you can ever think about. Moving on, so how do you identify and validate your topic basically? Why to do it in the first place? It's very crucial that if you have a validated topic, it ensures relevance. So sometimes you get into the zone of, maybe wondering, am I writing the right kind of content today? If you have a number of topics to your, as an author, it's a different story. But when you're starting, especially, think about, is it relevant? I think that's very crucial. It also minimizes risk. So, you don't end up writing something which is not required, or maybe people are not really, keen to know. So that's one way of, again, why to validate. And it helps you to refine the concept. So, sometimes it's like, I want to write a book on leadership. Now, I want to write a book on types of leadership. May not be required. It could be something to do with stories on leadership. So people love stories. Maybe you can get that course correction done when you're about to write a book. So keep these 3 points definitely in mind before you pick up the pen and start, putting down your thoughts. Moving ahead, now how to validate? That's a very crucial one. Guys, I can't see anyone's video. If I'll appreciate if I can see some faces over here. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Gaurish. Thank you, Taraka. Thank you, Bala. So, sometimes you wonder, otherwise you're talking alone or you're like talking to a dark room. So that is the reason. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So how to validate the topic? Now, one is, you define your target group very clearly. Get a, hi, Mahesh. Yeah. Define the, target group, work on a buyer persona that really helps well. So who's your customer, as we say, any product you get into, but who's your customer? Define it precisely in terms of, the gender, the age group, what kind of educational background they have, what professional background they have, what are their aspirations. I think that's very crucial when you think about writing the book. So defining becomes very crucial. use social media polls. Now imagine if you are, for example, Tharaka, you are a trainer, and you may be having specialization in about 5 topics. Or Mahesh, another gentleman I know, a good friend of mine, who's recently written a book. Now he knows the fact that, who's my target audience, what's their buyer persona, and what if he puts up, on social media certain polls to say that, hey guys, I'm trying to write a book, and obviously you do that with your own network. So I'm going to, I'm thinking about these 3 topics. What do you feel? Which is the one which you feel you should be hearing from me? So that kind of poll actually, revalidates your thought process. That okay, I think my people, my network is asking me to write on this topic. So that poll will help you again refine your topic of the, your book. Now host a webinar if you want something like this. Get your friends, relatives, your clients, your vendors, your associates, and ask them these questions that, hey guys, I'm trying to write a book. What do you think I should be writing about? Now, our close ones, the clients, associates, they will give you the right feedback. Now, instead of creating a complete, what is a choice for them, be precise in giving them 3 to 4 choices. That can I write something on this? Can I write something on this? Do you think I should be writing on this? What do you think I should be addressing in my book? I think that again will help you refine your concept. And what happens is when you keep doing this, you keep asking them what and why. So please, in those polls and in that webinar, if you hold, don't just wait or maybe stop after they have responded, but dig deep, dive deeper into it. Why do you think I should be doing it? And what exactly do you think I should be writing about? These are great inputs coming from the readers. Share a sample chapter of preface. Now imagine you go till, the first 4 steps and you have actually put down a preface. Share with those people who have responded and take their views, as to what they feel about it. Because what the preface is all about, I will cover that in the coming slides. But this again helps you to validate whether I'm on the right track or not. So that's a crucial one. And get feedback time and again. Now, if you observe this very clear, carefully, all these 6 things when you do time and again, and you keep asking and going back to your people who have responded, you have silently created a list of sure shot book buyers of yours. They could be 10, they could be 20, they can be 50. But this is one way of actually building up a target audience for you, who will eventually will be very happy to see that, finally the book is out. So I'm so happy about it and all that happens. So they are the ones who will actually, feel that this book is also partly owned by them. So when you post on social media, once the book is ready, you have a captive audience, as they say. That helps you again in validating and building up your target audience. Now, how to populate the content? Uh, you know, Now imagine if, it's a complete clean slate, a fresh, author thinking about my kya likhu, what is it that I need to write, you know. Now have a diary, always keep writing something or the other in that. It could be very, very random thoughts. It could be pointers. It could be something where, just an idea. You're not sure how to take it forward, but keep noting it down till the time you finally consolidate your thoughts. So that's one way. Have post-its ready, keep them very handy next to you in your diary, in your wallet, in your top pocket, wherever you want to keep, because ideas and thoughts will keep coming to you. See, imagine if you're going to write something on sales, you know, and you are the one who, on a daily basis, you are moving out, you are seeing customers, you're observing, you're seeing others, how they are actually, selling. Now, those ideas keep coming to you. Now, you don't want to rush here and there to say that, where do I write it? So this is one way of, again, capturing that your thoughts do not go. And trust me, it is very important that you keep noting down every time. This is how it will help you further. Spend time with yourself on your story. This introspection is very crucial. It really helps you. Like I'm an author of 3 books. I have ghost written several more for others, and I keep doing this. When you take that pause, and when you are in the midst of all your thought process of writing that book, this really helps. A mind which is a bit relaxed can populate a lot of good ideas to you. So keep doing this. Read a lot. Needless to say, someone can write only well when you can read a lot. So keep picking up, whatever the genre, whatever you like as a fiction, non-fiction, any kind of book, technical, academic, because when you read more, not only does it improve your language, your communication skills, your choice of words, your vocabulary, everything comes into the picture. So that's where reading a lot really helps a lot. Now observe again what connects people on your topic. Whenever you start writing, you will eventually come to a stage where people will actually start giving you feedback, which you start from the validation stage, and ask questions to yourself. Am I on track? Am I covering a lot of things which is really needed? Do not conclude immediately. When you have a book structure ready, which I will cover in the coming slides, spend a lot of time on that. Keep asking questions to yourself. Have I covered everything? Like Bala, my friend, is a yoga expert, is an IT expert, but I'm sure when he writes the books, he keeps thinking about the content completeness. That's what I always say. And if there's any scope to add something, don't rush to complete it. Keep taking those breaks. Now, forming your book structure, this is something which has helped me in my formation. So there is typically a fictional, non-fictional book. There's an author's intro, there is a preface, there are forewords written by multiple people, maybe more than one. There are chapters, of course. There is epilogue about what has gone by, and references. Now, what are references? I'll start one by one. But references is nothing but if you have used in your content writing any reference of a book or some link from the internet or something you've attended some webinar, you've attended some seminar or workshop, and the speaker has used these words, or you have picked up from this book, please give a lot of credit to that. Do more than it is required, because you don't want to get into plagiarism afterwards, that you have picked up something and you're not giving credit because it's not your own line. So make sure about this, which is very, very crucial. Otherwise, your book can come into a lot of trouble. So these are the broad 6 ways. Now, in chapters, you can start with a quote, like when you're writing on, say, innovation. So we can think about innovation, quotes from maybe right from a Jack Welch to Steve Jobs to Elon Musk, anyone. So it's a great beginner. If you see at the beginning of the chapter, if you see quotes, without fail, stories, I think that is what will make your book very unique. Now, a lot of clients of ours ask us that, Rajnish, I'm writing a book on, maybe product development. Now, there would be millions of books on product development. So the question to me is, what will make my book unique? The only answer I can give is make your stories unique. Because what stories you have got is probably no one else has got. So make sure that whatever you are writing on, irrespective of the topic, obviously you will have stories associated with it, and make sure the stories are covered in that. That will make it unique. Questions. A good question always in the content of the chapter always instigates a lot of ideas. A reader feels good about it when someone is putting up a question to him, and when he reads that, it makes a lot of difference there. Pullouts are nothing but from the main content. If you pick up some sentences and highlight it in the content, so that again becomes a good presentation. There are tools and techniques. You can give these ideas about how to do things, the DIY techniques. Particularly, Tharaka, you are working on something, say, for example, on trainers. That might help you. That would you like to take this quick, exercise, rate yourself 1 on 5, things like that, which eventually the reader gets connected and he gets very engaged with you. So those are the tools and techniques, the engagement through DIY techniques. Put up a quiz. That's another good way of writing a content. Takeaways, again, always good to have a chapter with the ending takeaways from this chapter. So it's a good summary. In today's times, as Ankur Warikoo, I'm sure everyone has heard about him. He said that today's lot of readers do not read horizontally; they read vertically. So it's like literally going from here to there instead of reading like this. So that just goes to show that how much takeaways, quick synopsis, summaries is what clients like, readers like. And finally, have a note section. It's always good to have a piece of blank paper there where they can make their own notes. Now, in stories, if I can elaborate here, if you see this, ideally it should have a hook. A hook which actually excites people. that, oh my God, this is something which I had not thought about. So that is the hook I'm talking about. Context, extremely, extremely important. Where are you coming from? That is the context. Is it you're starting your chapter or your, entire book's concept on from a very critical moment in your childhood where, you had that turning point, or maybe when you started your professional life, something of that kind, which becomes a very, very good context for the reader to understand, this is where he's coming from. So then have a problem, have a solution, and load it with a lot of drama and emotions. This is how an ideally a book structure should look like from a non-fictional point of view. This is not a template kind of a thing to follow, but to a great extent, when you have this structure in mind, you will start populating your content effectively. That's the whole idea. Now, what is preface? This is nothing but your why. Now, if you keep answering this, these questions which I'm going to show you, believe me, at the end of this webinar, if you feel free to take a screenshot of this page, or if you go to our website, also there is a section where you can get a free content of the preface once you fill up some details. So if you answer these, your preface can get actually ready. What inspired you to write this book? If you can think through properly and write for yourself. When did you first get the idea for this book? What personal or professional goals do you hope to achieve with this book? What gaps or unmet needs does your book address? Very, very crucial. Very, very crucial. Like Bala, for example, we all know that there are thousands and thousands of books on yoga, but I'm sure there's something very unmet need which Bala is covering in that, so that makes it very, very interesting. Who's the audience and how will it help them? So you actually write it. My book is meant for teenagers who have just started their career. That's a very, very clear, communication to the reader. My book is meant for in the age group 40 plus. My group is meant for someone who's struggling with mental health. My book is meant for someone who's actually wondering how to reskill himself. All these are very, very hard-hitting specific things you can answer, and the reader loves to read this. He feels it is written for him. So keep this in mind. The people in your journey, you would want to thank, express your gratitude towards someone who pushed you into writing, or maybe someone inspired you to, pick up the pen, or maybe you read one book and you felt that, oh God, someday I should be writing my book as well. Mention that, and also ask them to write back what they feel about it. So at the end of the paragraph of a preface, readers, I would love to hear from you more. I'll be available on, you want to give your number, you want to give your email ID. These are right ways to write a preface. Yeah. Guys, are you okay with the pace, or how is it like going? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely fine.
Sorry?
No, Rajesh, I said I'm absolutely fine. This is going.
Thank you. Thank you, Mahesh. Now, coming to the introduction of the author, ideally it should cover these, set a context, as I said, start from a childhood incident, turning point, something, some age, some year, if I can put it that way. It can be anything. Brief background, just to share with you all, we are having a book created recently where, believe it or not, but a gentleman not staying here, but he was jailed. He was jailed in the, I will not name the country, but he was jailed abroad. And those 45 days when he spent there, that was his turning point. So the moment I shared this, structure with him, he was like, oh, Rajneesh, 101%. That was my turning point. That was the time when I thought about, I should be writing a book, because a lot of people, the inmates, over there were telling him that, you should be writing a book. You should have your stories covered in this. So that was, the context, which was very, very crucial for him. So set a background, upbringing, childhood, turning points, life events. It could be, when you were put down in a boarding school, or it could be when you shifted from a very small time village to a city like Mumbai or Delhi. So these are great turning points and, very, very crucial context points. Highlight your career path, your expertise, knowledge base, specialization. How's your entire journey in terms of profession background, your significant contribution or some incident. It could be something like that. Like we just heard about Mr. Ram Prasad, who said his entire trip to Antarctica. Now, how does it sound to us? It is crazy, but that's the kind of some huge content or incident. Explain how the book is intended to impact readers and what they can expect to gain. Now, this is again very crucial, becomes very personalized because the author expresses here that whatever I have gone through, in a way, I mean, I'm not saying use these words, but whatever I have gone through, the experiences which I have gone through, I hope that the reader, when he reads this, will not face the similar kind of situations. So it's like I'm going to learn from his experience. So have that in mind. And final thoughts to the reader. So do come back to me. I would love to hear your feedback. That's how the introduction is looking like. Forward, very, very crucial that it is written by someone who knows you personally and professionally. Very, very crucial because why I insist for this, if it is personally, someone gets too personal. Like, if a friend of mine is writing a forward for me, he will keep talking about how amazing Rajneesh is, what a great friend he is, and what he is that, and what he is that. It's very, very personalized. I know his nature, I know his hobbies, and it doesn't make sense. But if it is a mix of both, then someone should also comment that yes, I know him as a person, but professionally I have seen his growth. Professionally I have seen the way he has handled his business, his journey, what his specialization is. So it's a proper mix of both. That's what important as far as selecting the person who can write the forward for you. Then brief background, who they are, like the person writes that I am so and so, and I'm from this background, and this is how I know the author of this book. So that's a brief introduction. Initial reaction, he has to actually make it a bit dramatic, to say that I was completely overwhelmed. I mean, something which I was not expecting that he will tell me to write the book, something of that kind. How does this book relate to your field of expertise or personal interest? So he expresses from the author's point of view that whatever experience he has got, I think this book is going to benefit a lot of people, so and so forth. Why do you believe this book is important or relevant today? So here again, he re-emphasizes this entire book's concept, and the author actually gets that validation again. And he can share personal anecdotes, experiences that highlight the author's dedication, knowledge, and passion for the book. So, like for example, Mahesh is an IT expert, Bala is an IT expert, and if they have someone writing their forwards, I'm sure they're going to mention about their IT experience and journey about it that way. Chapter or some section they like. This is another very crucial one because out of the 10, 12 chapters which your book may have, they may pick up one chapter which they really liked and why. So that's again when the reader reads it, he feels very connected. Oh, maybe this is what is making it very interesting. And it's a stamp of authority coming from this third person over there. And then he summarizes the impression of the book. So this actually is a good structure of a forward again. Chapter flow. Now, there are three models of working. One is a linear structure, chronological, as they say, step by step. These are very good for autobiographies. Now, for example, you have to start by birth, and then it gradually moves to your, young age, and then the later age, and then the final retirement age, for example. You can't start the other way around. So the simplest way to put it that way. So each chapter is a sequence of events. Then there is a modular structure, independent chapters. It has nothing to do with chapter related to each other. This is very good for non-fiction and self-help, like 10 ways to, motivate yourself, 5 reasons to exercise every day, 7 traits of great leadership. Now you can pick up any chapter in between and start reading. So that's again a modular kind of a thing, very independent chapters by themselves. And then there are thematic chapters. Chapters are grouped into sections of themes such as stages, milestones. It's like, again, my formative age, maybe my working age, my working experience, or my association with the social cause. So this is how, it can be theme-based completely. Here again, it is to a great extent modular only because it has nothing to do with a sequence of events. But these are broadly 3 very good models of writing. Instead of jumping from here and there, this helps for even the reader to tune themselves as to what is coming next. And actually, this helps you in building the chapters together also. The first one particularly. Now, ideal chapter flow, introduction, hook the reader, as I said, start with a strong opening. an engaging story, a surprising fact, or a provocative question. This is very, very crucial, everyone, because this sets the tone. Trust me. If you see, the best example I can give today is if you see any kind of a trailer of a, of a video trailer or something to do with an OTT series also. That's the best way I can explain this today. It has a hook by which a person gets engaged completely. They know what's in store. So every chapter of yours, when you are writing, make sure you have a very, very strong hook. Very, very crucial. Preview the chapter, give a brief overview. This ideally should come in the second chapter, second paragraph of the chapter, where the reader knows what to expect in the rest of the pages. So that sets the tone properly. And then there is a bridge from previous chapter. Always mention that, you read about this in the previous chapter. We are going to cover this in this chapter. See, this is a link which is very, very crucial for you to take it forward. So this is again a good way to have your content populated when you're writing your book. Expanding on the main idea, main points, develop the chapter key ideas, arguments, or narratives. Supporting examples, as I said, stories, case studies, data, logical flow. This is an ideal, I wouldn't say a formula, but problem, insight, solution, and the main engagement. This makes a good chapter content, besides the previous one which I showed you. This is again a good flow of chapter writing. Finally, to conclude, recap the key takeaways. As I said, every chapter should ideally end with key takeaways. There are a lot of readers who flip through the pages and pick up the key takeaways and then say, maybe this is very interesting. Let me go back to the chapter again. So this is another one way of engaging the readers also. Bridge to the next chapter. As I said, start with the earlier one, write the content, the current one in the chapter, and end it by saying that in the coming chapter, we are going to see this. So it's a nice link to each of the chapters. That way. Very, very crucial. Call to action. This is, I will only recommend this to, self-help and business books. Some reflections or some action steps, like, do you promise to do this? Or would you want to measure your weight in the next 10 days? Something of that kind. I'm just giving example, but make the person do something. Some CTA is required, call to action. Now, consistency in writing, your style and tone. Friends, make sure that, the consistency is all across in terms of tone, voice, vocabulary, because you don't want to suddenly write a very huge, hugely jargonized English, nor do you want to make it look very slangish also, So make sure the tone is consistent. If you're using, Indian English, make sure you're writing Indian English. There are ways and means of actually fine tuning all this, but the point is, don't be inconsistent. If it is a very, very casual way of writing, make sure the entire book looks casual. If it is very preachy, then make it look like a preachy one. So it depends on what your tone and style is, but don't deviate. Otherwise, the person gets lost. What is he trying to say? And usage of jargons or heavy words, I'm a big no for that. Unless it is absolutely needed. So make sure about it. Publishing steps, ideally pick up your pen and write in a Word doc. There are many, many softwares, as you know, which you can use. But a good old Word document, consider editing if you need editing and proofreading later. Ensure a 12 point, it becomes very crucial. Set your even page layout in your Word document to the smaller size, the A5 size. You can even customize it to a 6:9 size and everything. So, but do it as much as possible so that you don't see a A4 size Word document, which doesn't give you a feel of a good book, Write as if you're creating a book for yourself. So adjust the layouts and everything accordingly. Format the text with a readable layout. As I said, space it out. Ideally 1.15 is a good line spacing. Even 1.5 is a good line spacing. So structure it so that you start from day one looking like it as if it's your book which is getting ready, instead of just writing a Word document straight away. Now, marketing-wise, I'm coming to the last part of the book creation process. Now, a lot of our clients, when they come to us, they feel that, a book needs to be marketed once it is all done. But that's a big, big mistake. When you start your authorship, when you start writing, make sure you start marketing it the day you thought about even thinking about, the book is going to get ready. So today, for example, anyone from you is thinking that I'm going to write a book. Trust me, just a simple information on social media, on WhatsApp, and wherever your platforms and your target audiences, even on LinkedIn, to say that I'm writing a book, see the kind of response you'll get. Your marketing actually starts from there, you know. So don't ignore that, because by the time you come to a 50-60% completion, and you'll probably feel that I've lost that time. Now, what happens is, there is a performance pressure as well on you. Once you announce, it has to be done. You know, I'm not saying that you can't miss the deadline, but you can always say that today we are in the month of April. By December, my book is going to be out. So you have 6-9 months to actually prepare that. So make sure you start before starting to write, during the making of it, and even after listing it on Amazon and Flipkart. So these are the 3 stages. Now, what do you do? Announce your journey. As I said, keep posting on your journey, your stages of writing, your meetings, your late nights. Keep mentioning this, keep taking pictures, and keep posting it. You are automatically building a lot of your target audience there, who are going to buy your book later. So once listed, promote on social media, print adequate copies for gifting to clients, sell in your workshops. I think that's a great platform. Add author to your email signature. Of course, that's something which you'll be proud of for the rest of your life. Announce on online book launch. This I insist again, because you can connect people from outside your respective city, country also. So today we all are globally connected. Tomorrow if Taraka writes a book and publishes, I'm sure sitting in India, I'm going to be a part of his online launch. So which otherwise wouldn't happen since he's in Maldives. So that's the whole idea. Plan an offline event in your respective city, so that a lot of people come in, make the best out of the event, and it helps you in marketing it also over there, and sell the books. So do a podcast, consider online PR, sell books in workshops and webinars and seminars, as I say. These are very basic steps, but a lot of people miss this, and then they wonder, like, how do I sell my book further? So this is a quick, pointer as to on the summary of what you can do. Online launch, offline launch, influencer marketing, social media promotion, video trailer, video book, author promotional video, podcasts on YouTube, audio book creation. I think these are great, activities you can do for your book before, during the making, and after the listing also. Allow me to share this one video which we made recently. This is for one book which we had done on mathematics. So can I share it with you all? Is it okay? Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Rajnish, video
Yeah.
voice is not.
Sorry.
Any audio instead?
Video voice is not audible.
Is it? Okay. Only you can see the video, is it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I will send these links to everyone afterwards, after the presentation. Yeah. That will
Okay,
work.
sure.
So so this again is a video book. Again, this link I will send it to you all later. We actually converted this entire book into a video form. That also helped to market it. So I'll send these two afterwards. These are a few of the books we have published. There are many more, but just to make one slide out of it. A lot of these are coaches, consultants. A lot of these are business owners. There are a few professionals like doctors also, architects, some kids who have written books. So it's a mix of a lot of customer profile. This is how we help. I mean, this is not with the intention of giving or rather marketing my business, but very quickly there are 3 type of people who come to us. Either you have written the content and need publishing, book coaching, and ghostwriting and publishing. We do in this 3 form. These are the list of services, but feel free to go through our website. I'm not getting into details over here because that's not the objective. These are few testimonials. This is my YouTube channel, which you can go through. And these are my contact points. So this actually summarizes my presentation today. I'll stop sharing. I'm happy to take questions if there are any.
Rajnish, question
Yes, Mahesh.
later. Thanks, and this was a wonderful session. I'm sorry I'm outside. I was traveling, so I couldn't keep the camera on.
Sure.
But then you can see I'm actually outside. I was
Yeah,
traveling
it's
to
a
the school.
lovely scene outside also. One is looking
Yeah.
good that way.
Okay. So, Rajnish, that preface thing, you know, I really liked it. I had
Thank you so much.
never thought about preface in that way.
Right.
And of course, that commitment part is something I will do it over this weekend. I'm going to commit myself to my next book, which again, it's there in my mind. I have
Okay.
to, bring it out. But
Sure, sure.
so, sooner I will be there troubling you.
Surely, surely. It'll be a pleasure, Mahesh. It'll be a pleasure.
You.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes,
Yeah,
Bala, you had a question?
no, a couple of things, Rajneesh.
Yeah.
I just wanted to, understand from you if you are a subject matter expert,
Yeah.
and how do you distinguish between writing a guidebook, like we've been talking about, and how do you actually make it very generic? So, is there a specialization in terms of types of books that you ask people to write?
Well, see, if you are a subject matter expert, Bala, you know, I feel that you should have the entire content about what you want to convey. Now, there are two ways to do it. One is, as I said, you can get very preachy, but preachy is something I don't encourage. I'll tell you why. Because for the sake of an example, if you are going to write on yoga, you know, a reader might feel, let me go to Google and find information on yoga. Yeah. So I'm sure it is for ages, the content is available on Google. It is only getting better and better as we go along. Yeah. So what is it that Bala's book makes it unique? And I feel besides what is yoga and how it helps, your stories will make it unique, my book. I insist for that. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Honestly, it doesn't make sense. You know?
Think my question a little different, Rajneesh. I'll just rephrase.
Yeah.
In the type of books that you have, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
some of them, how do you distinguish between a guidebook,
Huh.
like what we do? I'll just slightly differentiate. It might not be preachy, but at the same time, as or Guruji and other people keep saying, you need to convey the message in such a way that you don't sound arrogant.
Correct.
The key part is that you don't sound arrogant part of it. So, for example, if I'm writing a book for yoga teachers, as an example,
Right.
and we're just going to get to the point in terms of what are the gaps which is there, how we are covering to it. What I wanted to just check with you is how do you classify saying this is a generic book vis-a-vis a handbook? The distinction there.
So, from a content point of view, from a presentation point of view,
Both.
well, presentation makes it, see, a guide typically, if you see, they look in a particular manner. They are very notes oriented, question oriented. That makes it a handbook for someone to refer and implement. That's one way to treat. So I think to a great extent, your content will be ready. It is the formatting which will play a very crucial part, Bala, to make it look like a guidebook. Otherwise, if we add stories and everything and make it look like a fictional, non-fictional, or even a self-help book, it might look like a storybook kind of a thing eventually, which you don't want. But if you want a guidebook, then it has to be treated and formatted in a particular manner. Like we recently did one, there's one for which we did for teachers of a school, which was entirely, I wouldn't say it is an academic book, but it is like how to teach. Now, it had to be something to do like a guidebook only. So the treatment of formatting would differ, Bala. Nothing from your content point of view.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Rajnish, one question.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gaurish, you have a question?
One quick thing for one quick question I wanted to ask is that how do I know if if my idea is actually good to actually go means how do I know if it if if that particular idea, the this one will actually like it. The reader will actually like it.
Get your point. Yeah, I get a point. What one needs to do, Gaurish, that's what I covered in the validation part, you know, is you actually need to discuss your idea with your target audience, your sample target audience. You know, now I don't know what topic you have in mind, but say for a moment, what is your profession, Gaurish?
From basically from IT.
IT. Okay. Now, if you're going to write on something to do from a coding point of view, or maybe from a hardware point of view, or maybe from a product innovation point of view, maybe on AI, maybe on cloud computing. I don't know what, you know. Now you may be having your group of friends, relatives, as I said, clients, your maybe vendors, whoever is there in your ecosystem of your network. Now your topic needs to be thrown to them, or maybe even before that. Hey guys, I'm thinking about writing a book, and I've thought about these 5 topics. What do you think about it? What would you want to see coming from me as my first book? And start a poll so that people can then start contributing to it. Now out of the 5, you may feel that there are 2 3 topics where people have given the maximum rating. Now that is where you will start then working in that direction. That is how it will help. Yeah. Thank you. Taraka, you had a question, sorry.
Hi, thank you very much. I think it was a very informative presentation.
Thank you so much.
Had a lot of information that you shared. Thank you very much for that. And definitely, I need some of your services that I will speak to you on that. My question is basically when it comes to the topic, it has to be very catchy. It plays a very important role. Now, I have started writing, however, in the first chapter, to be honest, right?
Sure.
So there's a lot more to go. However, looking at this particular structure, I think it will give me some sort of a very good understanding on how to move on.
Right.
And for you to understand now, when we put up a topic, right, the book name, what are things to be considered, maybe from your perspective? I know my market. I know who is going to read.
Okay. What is your specific question? I didn't get your question.
Right. When we are naming the book, right? The book name has to be catchy for a person to purchase it, right?
Right.
So, are there any like you gave a lot of structure into different areas? Are there any points that we need to consider when we put up the name of the particular book?
Sure. See, one is when your content is ready, when your topic is ready, when you are about 50% through with your book, that time you start thinking about your book title and subtitle. One way to do is to have a book title in mind and then start writing. But that's not very ideal unless you have fallen in love with that title. You feel that, no, I somehow want this title. It can happen. There's no fixed formula. But when you write 50% of the content, you get a fair view about, what the book is all about, and then you can start, actually giving some options for yourself. Now, one way which is very effective again, is a question, or maybe a statement, like 7 effective ways of leadership. So when you put a figure, somehow person likes it. I don't know, there's a human psyche behind it, but people like to see 25 ways to improve your email marketing, 10 ways to become a great leader. That's one way to do it. Sometimes it can be something very hard hitting, like, something which actually instigates your thought process, like 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. It's one of the book which actually one doesn't get any understanding of what the book is all about. 0 to 1, now what do you make out of it? Nothing, but maybe the title itself gets very catchy. And now that book, which I have read a couple of times, is one of the best books I've read. It's all about, how startups should start their business. What are the things they need to look at? Some out of the box ideas also. So that book is something to do with that. Take, for example, another book like Jim Collins' Good to Great. So the Good to Great, when you read, you know that this is something to do with transformation. Something to do where, and the subtitle is how companies have evolved over a period of time, how they have become from good to great, what are the best practices they have done. So that is one way to put something which is not entirely clear, but that actually instigates the reader to think more about it. So two, three ways to do it. But I will insist, Taraka, as I said, write your content to a good extent, then think about what should be my ideal book title.
Yeah. Thank you very much. At the same time, just wanted to double check with you. Do you translate in your services Sinhala into English?
Yeah. We do translation also. Yeah.
Right. And is there now, as I write the book, this was coming to my mind. Now we have a lot of fonts in Word document. Is there a particular research done? Okay, this is the readable font, or this is the best font to kind of a thing.
Yeah, Bala, you want to say something?
Long time back, we did a research, Taraka. Is that right? Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
long
sir.
Time back, we did a research in terms of what are the type of fonts that make sense and what are the kind of fonts which work up. Now, if you read the history of fonts, you find by default in the Word document, it comes out as Times New Roman. The Times New Roman has a history. The Times New Roman is basically based on the American ways of actually writing, and it is useful for people who are into litigation. The Americans are full of litigation, so when you look at it, it comes out as a legal document. Okay, so what we did when we were writing up the proposals and things like that, we actually found two fonts which are very, very good, and the reasons being, one is it should not hurt the eye too much. Okay, it should be very easy easy on the eye, or easy on the eye. Number one. Number two is when it is easy on the eyes, when you want to highlight a point, it should not be too jarring. So from that point of view, we found two fonts which were very useful. One was Arial, which we used, and the other was Calibri.
Okay.
So these two fonts are, if you look at any of the IT guys when they write their proposals or even when they make the presentations, by default, this is the standard which has been set. And this we got to know from the management consultants. So long time back.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Just to add to that, thank you, Bala. Thanks for your contribution. What we work on to a great extent, because we have seen a lot of publishers, use this font. I've just put it in the chat box. It's Baskerville Old Face, So that works pretty well. 12-point looks very neat, and even Times New Roman, which Bala rightly said. These are good fonts to work with. Any other question?
Yes, Rajnish, one more. I know it's already 7:30, but maybe if you can.
No worries. Please go ahead.
Okay. So, my subject is going to be a little more technical, like my earlier book also.
Sure.
And this time, I want to go with a lot of real life examples, cases, to a certain point, data also. I know the data, I will have to mask it, or, I cannot reveal the organization's data. That's fine. But then at least use the data to a certain extent. So I'm thinking of starting with some surveys, data collection, etc. So in your experience in the book industry experience, is it something like an accepted practice, like people reach out, people collect the data, or how do we do that? Because I know PhD students, they can show their ID and they can show their institutions later, and then they can get the data. But being an independent author, have you seen people or organizations are open to share the data? Of course, anonymously, but will they?
Depends on the topic, no, Mahesh, to a great extent, what you are writing on. If it is something which is very generic, easily available in the public domain, they would love to contribute. I wouldn't say they would not. Also depends on who's going to collect the data. They need to put up your background properly. They need to give a proper reason why they are doing it. Put the questions very nicely to them. There would
Okay.
be people who would be happy to do it. Absolutely. You can try LinkedIn to that matter. You can start with
That's what I have in my mind. Like first put an announcement. I'm going to write on this subject.
yeah,
For which I will need a considerable amount of corporate like data from the corporate side,
sure.
and then test the waters to see what the responses I get, and
Absolutely.
then
And start with the known devils, as they say.
yes, of course,
Someone so maybe they can
of course,
contribute first that way.
yes, yes, that's for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bala, you wanted to
similar
say something? Yeah.
sorry.
Bala, sorry.
Rajneesh, I had, yeah. So, are you able to hear?
Yeah. I can.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Okay.
can. Yeah.
Because yeah. So, a quick takeaway, I would say, from your point of view. I didn't know that we can start marketing when you're thinking of writing a book. That's
Thank you.
the biggest. That's the biggest takeaway that I did
Thank you so
in
much.
terms of the entire part of it. Because if you notice, I think both of us have this habit of carrying a pen and paper everywhere that we go.
Sure.
So that works in terms of the ideation part of it.
Sure.
The other thing which I liked in terms of takeaways would be the way the structure was. I think that the first time that I saw the structure being broken down in very easy to understand areas. I think there was no jargon.
Yeah.
It was simplistic. It was straightforward. It was good. So
Thank you, Bala. Thank
it
you
was
so
very
much.
it was very useful for 1 hour, and then we'll ideate. We'll catch up.
Sure. Can I request all to just on their video and we can take a quick picture if you don't mind? Yeah. Gaurish, you are there? Yeah. Wonderful. Okay.
Yes.
I'll just take a quick picture. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Ram Prasad sir. Good to see you again. Hi, Alim. Wonderful to see you.
How are you? How are you?
Very well. We'll just take
Sorry,
a
I
quick
logged in a
picture.
little late.
Yeah, I could sense it. Okay. So yes, I've got the picture. Yeah. Thank you. So great, guys. Should we wrap it up? Alim, I'm sorry, but we have.
No, my bad. Sorry, I logged in a little late. I'll call you separately. I have a question. I'll call you separately.
Sure. No problem.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm on LinkedIn as well. If you have liked, anything about this session, please drop in a comment on that. I have already posted, this webinar's information. Maybe I'll send you my LinkedIn profile in case anyone needs it. Many of them are connected. But did you all get the WhatsApp which I sent everyone today?
Not really. I didn't get that.
Oh, really?
Maybe we will connect. Yeah.
I added you, Taraka, in the one broadcast I've created.
No,
maybe.
I also didn't actually get it. Rajneesh.
Okay. So maybe you can search for Rajneesh Shirsat on LinkedIn. Or shall I post
sure.
my profile over here? Is it okay if I post
Yes,
the
please.
link? Yeah, just a second. So
Hey,
a comment
Rajneesh,
over
while
there
you
might.
share that, sorry, I think there was a request by Gaurish in the chat, like before we close.
Yeah,
Maybe you-
the video, right? I'll send the link to everyone. I'll send it.
Oh,
I'm going to
excellent.
post this on my YouTube channel. So I'll definitely
Oh,
post
that
it
will be
there.
great. Thank
Yeah,
you.
just a second.
Thank you.
Yes, one minute. So my chat box is here. Yeah, here's the link. That's my LinkedIn profile in the chat box. So please do drop in a quick sentence on how you found the session. There is this post there. I don't know if I can see the post. Maybe I could have. Yeah, I think that's it. Just a sec, guys. Sorry. Yeah. So this is the link where it is today's session is mentioned. So you can click this and there you can post it also directly. Then we can always connect there. Yes, are we good to go? Thank you so much, everyone. It was lovely talking to you all. And thank you
you
for
very
the
much.
encouragement. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you so much. Thank you.